Hey guys, hope you're all keeping well. And I just had a question there from a guy called Tony about. I presume he's a taxi driver as well. Just asking me if I got the a full shift out of the car, and yeah, I do. Now, just to let you know, the model of MG5 I have was the first model out. It's the 52.5 kilowatt battery, stated range of 345 kilometers. And yeah, I was getting that. In the summer, I'd get I worked out about 370, 380 kilometer range, and in the winter about 300 to 310. Now that's you were asking as well with the winter range. Yes, the cold does it does affect the battery, and then also when you have the heater on, it's obviously using a lot of power as well, so that does affect the range. But now, normally I'm in the fortunate position. I'm kind of middle aged. I think I've 7 years left on my mortgage. It's not a huge mortgage compared to some, but I would work 8-9 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's kind of my norm. Would change slightly, but I don't look at the range anymore. And I haven't done in over a year. After a couple of months, I kind of, when I got to know the car and what have you, I just go on the percentage, and I just use it like a fuel gauge. And it was like, I mean, if you think about it with the diesel, when I was driving the diesel car, I'd throw €50 into it. Now, this was when diesel was 130 a litre. You'd throw €50 into it, and you'd get 2 days out of that. Or more or less 2 days out of it, maybe a bit more, depending how busy you were. And it's the same with the car. Now, I do charge it every night. And normally, spring, summer, autumn, when it's not that cold outside, I'd charge it up to 80-85%. A normal day for me, I would use 40 to 50%. But then in the winter, when it is cold and you have the heater on all day, I would be using 50 to 60% battery. Now, I would normally cover 150, 160 kilometers a day. Busy day, maybe 200. That's when I'd be going up to the 60% use of the battery. So having 80-85% battery it's enough for me to do the shift, and to have a little bit left in the tank, so to speak. If you get a busy run or something, or if you use the apps and that, and you're getting one job after another, and it's like the old saying, never stop a galloping horse. You keep going to because the work is there. So yeah, I've had no issues. It happened to me once where normally I just work Monday to Friday, and this Friday night I didn't charge the car. I'd a busy day, long day. I got home, I just said, I'm not working tomorrow, it doesn't matter. And of course, a regular customer rang me on the Saturday to bring her from Naas into Dublin City. Now, we were just coming out of lockdown. The pub still had to close at 12 o'clock at the time, and so I went on a rapid charger, just I think for 15 minutes, just topped the car up, dropped them into Dublin while they were having their night out and that. I'd done a few other jobs, and then brought them back home. But as I was bringing them home, she said, "Oh, Dan here needs to go to the airport. Can you bring him?" So of course, from Naas to the airport, absolutely, I'm going to take that job. And I went down, it was 1:30 in the morning, went down to the local rapid charger, and there was a car on it. So I came home, put it on charge. I only had about an hour and a half before I had to pick him up to bring him to the airport. So it was tight, and I got home I had to go on a charger. There was one at the airport, but of course there was a car on it. There was a queue of cars, taxis waiting. Went to the next rapid charger. There was a taxi on it, another one waiting. So I had to go to a normal charger. It was actually a Lidl in Ballymun. And I sat there for an hour to get 7 kilowatts to try and get me home. And I got home with 1%. So that for me was a lesson learned. So now on a Friday night, I will charge the car up to 80%, even though I know I'm not going to be working. But if I do get that call, I know I've enough in the tank basically to go out and do a bit of work, you know. So they are different, but it's not rocket science. And you know, within a couple of weeks, couple of months, you'll know that, you know, we are creatures of habit. So you'll know that that regular journey you do will take X amount of percentage of battery. And I don't worry about, I don't have the range anxiety anymore that, you know, people do talk about. You will have it at the start, you know. If you, I don't know, I take it from you're thinking about going electric, and to try and cut your costs, and you will, especially if you can home charge. Home charging is the key to it. I pull into my driveway, plug the car in, I set the timer, and I get up in the morning and I'm ready to go. Now, with the cold snap there that we had a couple of weeks ago, I was charging it to 100% every night. And in the morning, when I'd walk down the stairs, I'd open the front door, I'd turn my car on, and I'd put the heating on, and I'd go in and have my breakfast. And when I'd come out, some mornings would actually use 2 or 3% battery in 20-30 minutes of me having my breakfast and that. Now I'd have the heater on full, the fan up full, the heater up to maximum. The car be de-ice and nice and warm and toasty getting into it. But again, as I said, days like that I was kind of using up to 60% battery, and that's with the heater on all day. Even when I was sitting on a rank, you know, I could be sitting on a rank for an hour and a half sometimes, I'd still have the heater on. Why not? You know, keep comfortable. But yeah, there's absolutely no problem with it. Now, when they brought out the long range model in this, which was a late 21, I got this car in June of 21. They brought out the long range, which was a 61.1 kilowatt battery. I think the range was 420, stated range of 420 kilometers. But then they reduced the size of the battery in the smaller range. It was 51.1 kilowatt, which was a range of 320, I think. It's still enough. It's still enough. As I said, it kind of depends on what you do. You know, you'll know yourself what sort of mileage or kilometers you'll do per shift, and you can work it out from there. Now, they say why I only kind of charge it up to 85% most of the time is, they say, you know, for the health of the battery, to prolong the health of the battery. But I, you know, it's, they say charging it up to 100% is fine as long as you're going to use it. You know, that you're not going to leave the car sitting for a day or two fully charged. But also it's also recommended that you don't go below 20% battery. That when you know, you shouldn't let it get down too low. So that's how I work it. And you know, for me, you know, it depends on your individual needs. But for me, that's how I've been working it. I had the second service done there a couple of weeks ago at the start of January. I've just coming up to 51,000 kilometres now, and the state of battery health is still 100%. Now, I used a Rankin College Green in Dublin a lot, and there was when I got this car, there was a fella. He was thinking about going electric, and you know he was just talking. A lot of taxi drivers were asking me about the car and how I was getting on with it and what I thought of them. And you know, I said to him, I said, "Look, you know, it's fine. I'm no problem." He went for it. He got the long range. He charges it to 100% all the time. He does do some nights. He'll come out at, you know, weekend nights, and he has no problems whatsoever. He'll get a full shift. He can home charge. As I said, I can't emphasize that enough. Home charging is the key to it. It's the cheapest form of charging you can do, and the convenience. You're not sitting in a garage for 45 minutes on a rapid charger charging your car at the end of a 8, 10, 12 hour shift, whatever you do. You know, it's, you know, time is money, time is precious, you know. So being able to drive home, plug in your car and go to bed, it's charging overnight, you know. I do keep it topped up, and I do charge every night, and that's because I don't need to charge for a long time. I mean, some nights I will only charge for 2 hours. And heat is another thing that can cause damage to the battery. So if you just keep it topped up all the time, you're saving the battery, you know, saving the health of the battery, because you won't need to be charging for 6, 7, 8 hours to fully charge it, and you're just keeping it topped up. You'll always have, you know, you'll have enough. And if you do need to go on a rapid charger, you won't need to go on it for 45 minutes. Like literally 10, 15 minutes could give you a range of, you know, 100 kilometers on a rapid charger, and it's not going to generate too much heat because you're not on it that long, you know. So, but yeah, if you're thinking about it, if you can home charge, you get a day-night rate. You start putting the washing machine and dishwasher on at night, you know, and charge the car at night. You know, it's fine. Now, the problem with night drivers, if you're doing nights, that's going to be an issue for you, because you can't flip the day-night rate. You can't get the cheaper rate during the day and then the more expensive rate at night. The energy companies don't do that. So it just depends. You just kind of have to, you know, sit down and do some figures. If you're doing days only, like myself, day-night rate, and you know, it will work out a hell of a lot cheaper. I worked out in the first year of me owning this car, I saved at least 4,500 on fuel, and that, you know, that's a huge saving. You know, especially with this game, you can't cut costs as easy as other businesses. You know, get a different supplier or whatever. You know, the insurance companies, they're all more or less the same. There's not much in the difference. Fuel, you know, if you're doing diesel, right, that garage down the road might be 2 cents a litre cheaper, but what are you saving? You know, 50, 60 cent. You know, we really are kind of at the mercy of others when it comes to costs in the taxi industry. But yeah, if you're thinking about it, while the grants are still there, because in July of this year, it was announced in last year's budget, in July of this year, the grants are going to be cut. So they're not going to be around forever. You know, they are being cut considerably in July, and I'd say by 2025 they probably won't be available at all, you know. So if you're thinking about it, go for it. You won't regret it. You really won't. I'm saving money, definitely, you know. So look, I hope that helps, and if you've any more questions, yeah, I've no problem, you know, I've no problem sharing it. You know, it's we all have to stick together. We're all in this together, aren't we? Yeah, right. Right, that's it for now. So, yeah, talk to you soon and stay safe. All the best.